Hey, aloha. If you're watching this, it means you're somebody like me who has hit her bottom, or maybe a loved one, your wife, your co-parent, a friend is in big trouble right now because of alcohol. Her life is stumbling, fumbling, out of control. Maybe you're at rehab right now. Maybe you're thinking about going to rehab. Maybe you're getting ready to come out. And I'm here to tell you, you don't have to do it alone. One of the things I've discovered in the last 9 years on my sobriety journey is when I try to do something alone, it doesn't work as well. um, I have so much experience and compassion with falling apart, being the super mom, being the PTO president, having a company, having a wonderful family, wonderful kids. Everything's going my way. And then one thing after the other hit the fan. And the coping mechanisms that used to work kept getting bigger and more frequent and more disastrous until one day I almost died. And I don't want that for you. So along this 9-year path, I've had my ups and downs. I'm a fellow traveler just like you. I'm a coach. I've developed something called the 11X Love Method, which has been a godsend for me in my life because I've tried so many different ways to stay sober, to get sober, to be happy, to be whole. And the things that I discovered was few things. A lot of the programs are good, but they're shame based and they're label based, and not in a billion years are you ever going to be called a label by me. I think it's one of the worst things you can do for yourself. It is, in my experience, in my philosophy, whatever you identify as, whether it's I'm a strong supermom or I suck, I'm a loser, or I'm a this, I'm a that, you're right. You're totally right. And your subconscious doesn't know the difference between, these words. It's getting programmed, and energetically you become that which you believe you are. And so the reason why I created this was because I did 12 steps about 9 years ago, 8.5, 9 years ago, and just kept feeling like this. I'm not a thing. I'm not a label. I'm not a disease. I'm a very, very beautiful, strong woman who's a child of God. And I use a G word. I'm going to tell you guys right now, whatever your spiritual beliefs are, there's no judgment here. I think, obviously I'm all about love and peace. Um, but I use the word God. And so that could mean universe, that could mean spirit, that could mean Jesus, Buddha, Allah, whoever is your God. Um, and so, but I use, that's what I use. So bear with me as we're journeying together on a spiritual practice. Um, but what I want you guys to know, and this is a long page for you guys to get through. However, it's important that pay attention and read it and understand how I work, because if you do decide that we might be a good fit, it's good for you to understand how I work, why I work the way that I do, who I work with. Are you a good fit? Are you not a good fit? Just kind of get to know me personally, because I become your teammate every single day for the period of time that we work together, whether it's 90 days or 1 year. Those are the only two ways that I do really, really deep work. I'll go do some retreat stuff with people once in a while, or if you need a sober companion, you already have to be a client to work with me that way. So it's important that we get to know, like, oh, I don't like her, she's got weird vibes, or yeah, okay, I can get with this chick, she's cool. What I do offer you is not only a structure and a formula to redesign your life and remodel your life after shit hits the fan. It's somebody who truly, truly gets where you're at. And that's one thing that I really missed, again, years ago, because I didn't really think anybody could relate to where I was. I didn't think that anybody had gone through what I'd been through. And I was just buried in a cloak of shame and resistance and denial, and thinking like, I'm going to get this back together by myself. I'm super strong. I'm a badass. I got this. And it does work for a period of time. But the problem, what I realized is you start to go through the cycles of life, whether it's the holidays, whether it's an anniversary, you're looking at the old photo albums, whatever it might be. your parents get sick, lost a client, your business is falling apart, something happens, God forbid, with your children, so layer after layer after layer can compound, and you might be able to handle those things individually. But when they're layered is when a relapse can happen. And there's never a guarantee in your life that you're not going to relapse. I relapsed twice in the last 9 years. Why is that awesome? Because I have awesome data points to share with you, kind of like a Sherpa going up a mountain to say, hey, these are really, really slippery little pebbles and you could fall and go off the side. You don't want somebody who's a guide who's just using a drone and going up above the terrain and saying, yep, that looks bad and that looks steep. It's like, no, you want somebody who's actually put their foot in the places where you're walking so that you can be really, really safe and careful and do your best. But the reality is it's still your path and you have to walk it. Just like giving birth, we hire doulas, right? Or midwives, but doulas are like birthing coaches. They're great for your husbands. They're great for you. They help you, stay focused and push the baby out. But guess what? It's your baby and you get to do the work. But I'm here as a doula or a Sherpa. I call myself a spiritual Sherpa because I've been there a few steps ahead of you. And my goal is to get you to where you want to go safely and with a big fat smile on your face. So that's a really, really important distinction. A lot of people who are therapists and whatnot, they haven't been where you've been. Doctors haven't been where you've been. And so they really don't understand what it's like to be up at 2 o'clock in the morning, shaking, twitching, having snot boogers coming out your face because you just really don't know if you're going to make it another moment on earth. And I do. Uh, I'm not going to go in too deep to my story. If we decide to work together, we'll get to know each other a lot more. I'll share things with you that I don't share with the general public. And so, um, it, not everybody needs to hear every detail of your story. And that's why it's important to have somebody who will not judge you, who will not shame you, and who will just love you. I'm here to do the 3 H's. I'm here to hug you and to help you and to high five you. And I do it in a way that's fun, that's playful, that's no nonsense and no bullshit. And also seeking, what are we looking to become in our lives? And so going through the 11X Love method is so important because the other thing that I really learned when I've been studying and practicing holistic health, spiritual practices, etc., for 37 years. I'm going to be 56 this year. So when I was 19, Ram Dass was my first teacher. And ever since I discovered that book in the library, it was my whole life completely transformed and just wow. So, ups and downs, ins and outs when I'm really hardcore and I notice and I don't have a practice and is when I have more susceptibility to fall apart in my life, which is what happened 9 years ago. So I realized I have to double, triple, quadruple down on a daily practice. I have to make sure that I'm, diligent with who I associate with and where I go and what I do. And the reason why I relapsed twice in these last 9 years was because of the layered external events and me not having the most solid foundation of a daily practice and the right people that understood me around me. So one thing I look at is I don't care how many times you've gotten on the wagon and fallen off the wagon, you're on it, baby. Like you're on a pathway. And so all they are data points. If the longest you've kept sobriety under your belt was 24 hours, good for you. Some people haven't had that. And so don't worry and compare yourself about where other people are. All that matters is where you wish to be on your journey and why. So I help you kind of unpack that. And again, one of the problems that I see, and when I was, in early recovery over 9 years ago and coming out of rehab was, okay, I got to go over here to do my yoga and spiritual practice. I got to go here to do my business stuff. I got to go here to learn about family stuff and, family constellations and talking with my children and relationship. And how do I divorce my husband in a way that's cool? Because we unfortunately didn't make it through that. That's a whole nother story. But everything was disjointed. Everything was disconnected. The business stuff wasn't connected over here to the spiritual stuff. The spiritual stuff wasn't connected to the family stuff. So it was all these little pieces that didn't talk to each other. And I realized like that's not going to work for me. And I was exhausted trying to juggle all of these different ways to, rebuild my life. And I really was like, I can come up with something, that I need for myself. So I created the 11X Love Method, and God is at the very, very center of everything. And so the reason why God is at the center is because I realized every time I put God in a separate bucket, it's just this other bucket of my life. And I realized when God lives at the middle, when love lives in the middle of my life and everything goes around it, everything works way better, way better. I'm more grounded. I'm more stable. I have more confidence, more peace, more ability to be resilient to all of the things that are going on around me. But if I put God in a separate bucket and just kind of attend to it whenever I feel like that, it's a mess for me personally. So this is how I've designed this. And when I work with other clients and groups of people, we put your version of God, spirit, universe at the center of your life. And I promise you, just this alone, if you take away nothing else and decide you don't want to jump on a chemistry call, you're just cool, I encourage you to just try it for a day, a week, a month to see what happens. Putting God and putting the filtering of all the decisions that you make through the lens of love, through the lens of God. And let me know how that goes for you, because it will give you unlimited power and strength and control. And one of the reasons why we struggle and fall apart is because we're sensing a lack of control. We're sensing a wanting to be involved and belonging. And so we pick up, I call them the 5 Ds: diamonds, drugs, donuts, digital, and dicks, to soothe ourselves, right? And we weren't taught really healthy coping mechanisms, many of us. And so a lot of times what was just a social lubricant is now something that, oh, well, now it's happy hour, so I should drink. Okay, cool. It's an office lunch. I got to drink at lunch. Well, mimosas are good. Oh, but it's a Tuesday. That's, and you're all alone, honey. No. So a lot of times when there's stress and then you just get yourself in this unfortunate downward toilet bowl spiral. And that's why you're sitting here watching this video. And so seriously, high five to you. It's very, very much takes a brave person to really understand, like, I can't do this anymore by myself. And you can't, you just can't. You might be a special snowflake, but if you were, you would already be doing it by now. And that's the truth. And there's no shame in it. There are some people who've got dimmer switches when it comes to alcohol. I am not one. I have an on and an off switch. And whatever, I started drinking when I was 12. Earlier than that, just sips of my dad's beer so that I could get attention from him, but really solid drinking when I was 12. And that's a lot of alcohol in my life. And my brain got rewired to that. And especially because I started drinking at such a young age. You might have too. So we don't operate necessarily the same as many other people. And that's okay. So just part of what I do, I call it MeHab. Okay. And so MeHab is specifically for aftercare for you. If you're going in rehab, if you're doing Ibogaine, if you're doing some kind of a deep psychedelic ceremony and therapy, I'm somebody who's stage 2. I'm somebody who's going to meet you and greet you and get you to the next stage, because that first stage is stabilization. The second stage is, okay, let's do some restructuring and remodeling and figuring this out. Stage 3 is down the road. That's totally optimization. And that's, not what you're here for today. So the way that I work with people is I work with you either in a 90-day period or a 1-year period. I am very serious about the people that I work with. I only literally work with up to 5 people max per year in my yearly programs. In my 90-day programs, depending on how many yearly people I have, I might be able to fit you in. The reason is this: you have me every single day in your pocket. Twice a day we communicate. We have deep dive talks every week. We go through your 11X love code and we design all 11 areas of your life. And we remodel them in such a way so that love is in the middle. Nobody else, unless you know people, I don't know anybody other than my friends who are there for me every day, and they get annoyed. They don't want to be responsible for being my accountability partner twice a day to make sure that I'm on track with my sobriety, I'm on track with my emotional and spiritual sobriety, and that I'm redesigning my life. So you pay for people to give you Botox and do your nails and get your hair done. You pay for personal trainers. You pay for expensive gym stuff and Pilates. So you're used to taking care of yourself. This isn't new, but that's all the stuff on the outside. None of that stuff is going to be beautiful the way that you want it to be if your inside is out of whack and you're hungover and you feel like shit all about yourself, because beauty does come from the inside out. You know that. I know that. So it's really important that you understand that, and understand that this investment, if we choose to work together and we're a good fit, is truly an investment from inside out beauty. It's inside out joy. It's inside out stability. It's inside out control. Okay. Because you want to come back to a place where you feel like when the world is out of control, at least you're in control inside. And your children need that. Your beautiful husband needs that. Your loved ones need that. But most importantly, you need that. And when you don't have it, it's not fun. And this is why you're here. So like I said, no shame. And I love you and I'm glad you're here and you've made it this far. So I know that you've probably tried a lot of things. You said, okay, I'm just going to cut down. I'm going to do dry January. I'm going to only have 7 drinks a week, or all of the things, right? You've tracked the stuff on the apps. You maybe have joined a couple groups and they work a little bit and then they don't, and consistency is the most important thing that you are going to develop with me, and accountability, and not in a, I check in with her. No, it's the most stoked part of your day because you're high-fiving yourself because you're sober and you're strong and you're becoming the even greater version of yourself that you were born to be. Okay. You've gotten this far. Trust me. I get it. You're a badass. You're a mom. You're a lover. You're sexy. You're beautiful. You're an entrepreneur. You have a business. You know what it takes to get shit done in the world. But I know you're probably like me too. And you're like, fuck, never in a million years did I think I'm going to be sitting here listening to some video for some chick who's talking about sober coaching. Like, no way. I never in a million years thought that I'm going to be a sober coach. Okay. I'm the one that used to throw the dinner parties. And I'm like, okay, how many cases of wine are we going to have? How many cases of red and white and the champagne and the whole 9 yards, right? I didn't think I could get through. And so you got to make sure you don't have the thing on your teeth. I never thought I'd get through my life with not having wine, and not having that. And it just is like, oh my God, that stuff made me toxic and poisonous. And I'm so much more in love with me in my life now. And so are my children and the people around me, with me as me, because that version of me wasn't me. That was a medicated version, a numbed out, wet blanketed version. And she was fun for a while. Obviously, I was a DJ. I traveled all over the world. Like, people paid me to come and bring the fun to parties, right? Now people pay me to bring love and stability. And, everybody has their own pathway in life, but this is my pathway and I'm here to help you. So if you want to book a chemistry call, look through this whole page, see what's up, see what resonates with you, see if it's a good fit for you with do's and don'ts, and we'll really see if we're a good fit. And I look forward to meeting you. I know this was a little bit long, and hopefully you are on the pathway. And I really want you to know that it's so much better. It's so much better on the other side. And you don't have to do it alone, and you don't have to suffer in silence. That sucks. Suffering in silence sucks. There are millions of people right now in your situation, and they don't know that there's a way out, and they think that they're the only one. Okay? Been there, done that. So what I invite you to do is enjoy, get a cup of coffee, some tea, read through this, book a call with me. I don't take everybody, and I have a very detailed questionnaire to see if we're a good fit. And it's okay if we're not. I have other things that I could either support you with or guide you elsewhere to get a different level of support. But my goal is to help you be safe, happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, and free and sober. Let's get out of the chains of this cycle, because you don't have to live like this. You really don't. And I promise you, it gets worse. And every time you get on and off and on and off and up and down and up and down, it's just, it eats away at your heart and at your soul. And you don't deserve that. God wants you to be strong. God wants you to be stoked and sparkly and kicking butt in life. So I look forward to talking to you, and I wish you the best. And God bless you. And you deserve this. You deserve sobriety, and you deserve joy. So I'll talk to you soon. And my name's Valerie, DJ Valerie B. Love. Nice to meet you. Aloha.